Hello, I'm Bern and welcome to my channel. If you love makeup, anti-aging, and cosmetic procedures and you're over 50, you've come to the right channel. Today, I am going to give you a review of the Estee Lauder Stay in Place Double Wear Foundation. And if you haven't tried this foundation, it is a full coverage foundation that works really well for mature skin. I want to say thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button below, and also if you've ever tried this foundation, please leave me comments below what you thought of it. I love foundation, but on every given day I can never expect too much from any one foundation, and there's many reasons. I might be having a hot flash, menopause problems, I could have discoloration from my rosacea problems, or I could have my hands engaged and doing something on the computer or reading, and I'm not sitting and touching my face all day. These are all factors that weigh into how long my foundation lasts. So let me show you. This is the bottle. It's 1 ounce Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place. It's a long wearing finish, lasts all day for the most part on me. So about the product, it's a 1 ounce no pump bottle. The no pump is kind of unfortunate because when you're wearing a full coverage foundation, it's nice to know every single time how much foundation you need, and a pump is a perfect way of knowing that. Now, if you're so hell-bent on having the pump, MAC makes a pump that fits this bottle. Next time you're at MAC store, you might want to purchase that if this is your go-to foundation. The application and measuring really does make a difference in not making mistakes. One day you look cakey and heavy, and the next day you don't. So that is. So it's $39.50 US. It's for all skin types. And the foundation comes in 38 shades. So if you have a challenging skin tone, this foundation, you will find something that fits your skin, which is awesome. Although it feels lightweight and comfortable, it is not an application where it's peaches and cream look. It's certainly not a natural look. You can tell you're wearing foundation, but for the mature woman, everybody knows you need a little foundation to cover those red spots and everything else we want to hide. So I've used this foundation with a lot of different primers over the past month, and I have an oily T-zone, and the best for me was the MAC Prep and Prime, and I'll show you the application very shortly. I'm also giving you a few tips and tricks on how to get a perfect application, so stick around and let's get into it. I've used this makeup many times for over a month. I don't like to give just a first impression review. I think they're kind of silly. Nobody can get a really good review of a foundation unless you've used it over time in many different conditions. The best application for me was with the MAC Prep and Prime Mist. I think it works best. And I'm just going to spray that on, pack it in, let it dry down a sec. So the tip for this foundation is I'm going to use one side beauty blender, one side makeup brush. Both give different results, but both work beautifully. So one of the first things to do, we'll start with the beauty blender. And what I do is I take a clean cloth and I make sure that I really have all of the water out of that beauty blender. It really makes a difference for this foundation. We want to shear it out, but not too much. And of course, the Beauty Blender gives a lot sheerer application. So give your foundation a shake. And unfortunate, it doesn't have the pump. But I will show you a way to get around that. When you pour your foundation out on your hand, what we're going to do to counteract that not knowing that full pump and how much we're getting on, this foundation works best when you apply it in sections on the face. So let me give my hair a tie back and show you. I'm stippling that in. And this way I know exactly if I have more product on that sponge than I actually want, I can continue down to the next section of my face. And that way I know I didn't apply too much foundation. By giving it yourself room in sections and not just dotting it on all over the face, you know you're not going to overuse foundation and waste it or have too cakey a finish. So makeup artists know it's very hard to take away. It's really easy to add. On this side is the application with the makeup brush, and I am using the Morphe M444. I like this brush. It's super dense and super big, but I will say on this application for this side of the face, again, going in sections so as not to overdo the amount you're using, and again, stippling. I find when I swirl on with this application, I get a little streaking. Instead, we're going to use a stippling motion, exactly what we did on the other side. And again, we'll know when we have enough foundation on. So that's the final product. And I know this is not a natural finish foundation, but this foundation works beautifully for the mature women. We have hyperpigmentation, we have veins in our face, and we need a good coverage foundation for the most part. It's a wonderful foundation if you apply it right and don't overdo or underdo. Another tip about this foundation is I don't like using a powder on top of it. If I'm going to use a powder, it is the slightest little touch of powder. Let me show you. So this is my RCMA powder. I touched it in there and I am beating off a lot of that powder. I am only touching those spots where I want my foundation to last, and that is my T-zone. I try to avoid this area. It looks cakey anyway, so that's one of my tips. And always, a good setting spray when finishing this foundation works wonders. Get yourself a good setting spray. I use the Skindinavia. This is the makeup finishing spray. Fine mist, oil-free, paraben-free. This is the best cosmetic spray out there. And if you're so inclined to use makeup every day, I would suggest getting a really good one. Overall, I really love this foundation for the money. When you consider $39.50 US for this foundation with 38 shades to choose from versus say like an Yves Saint Laurent or a Kogan Dough, which can be anywhere from $65 to $80 for 1 ounce, it's a great foundation for the price. Now, it also, you have to compare it to drugstore brands. I don't think there is a drugstore brand that has the coverage and longevity of the Estee Lauder Stay in Place foundation. I know drugstore brands have upped their game, but still they miss out on that longevity portion of foundation application, for me anyway. So I hope you liked this video, and I hope you try this foundation, and I'd love to know if you have in the comments down below what you've thought of it. And until next time,